What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the weekend AMC update video. We are going to go over the Ortex data, the Stonko tracker data, and then just a quick look at the chart. I don't want to take it too long here in this video, but I want to get some good info. And there's some very interesting things to talk about. So let's jump right into it. Before we do, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on the video and subscribe if you have not already. So the first thing I want to look at is the Ortex data. We'll just start right with that. Short interest up a little bit by 0.87% yesterday. Shares on loan 106 million. And the current short interest, estimated short interest, is 17.17%. Real quick here, I want to go over a couple things. The utilization, this is referring to, I know a lot of people believe that it's referring to the shares, the short interest versus the shares on loan. That's not the case. The utilization is referring to the shares on loan versus the amount of shares available to go on loan. So if you look here, it'll tell you the ratio between the number of shares on loan across all outstanding loans and the number of shares available for lending at the program. So the utilization has actually nothing to do with the short interest itself. The reason why maxed out utilization is important is because that says there's no more shares available to loan. But when you're sitting here with 106 million shares on loan and a short interest of 88 million, we're not really close to using up all those shares. Now, doesn't necessarily mean we have to have 106 million shares shorted to be out of shares, right? These could just be on loan that people aren't shorting. Hell, they could be on loan to avoid someone else from borrowing them too short. I think that could be a thing too, because if you look back before we ran up in April and May here, when our utilization was maxed out, the shares on loan, there were 150 million shares on loan and a short interest of less than 100 million. At one point it was 155 million shares on loan right here, and only 100 million short interest. So it doesn't have to be all the shares on loan shorted into the market. I think there's two things. I think people just aren't shorting those shares even though they've borrowed them. And I also think there's just a lot of lying, a lot of misreporting, malreporting going on. And so I'll go over the Ortex, but there's not, I think they're pretty darn close to out of shares, regardless of what this says or any utilization or anything like that. I mean, utilization is going back up, even though the short interest is down and the shares on loan are down, utilization is up. So it's interesting to watch, but I don't think we need to sit here and go, okay, 100% utilization, it's time to rock, because we had 100% utilization for a month and a half before we did squat back here in April and May. So it's good to pay attention to, but it's also good to know that it's not ironclad 100%. Over here on Stonko tracker, being a weekend, not much to talk about with the options coming up for this week, obviously. Seeing as they've already expired, 67,000 in the money expired yesterday. Coming weeks, these numbers are going to change very drastically, probably starting tomorrow morning. So these aren't even worth mentioning. What is worth mentioning is September 17th, 114,000 options already in the money for September 17th. And not in the money yet, 245,000 already. This already 114,000 in the money, being already in the money, already purchased for 3 weeks from now, or 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. That's crazy to me. I know it's monthly, but look at this. I mean, this is the week that just happened, and it wasn't even close to the same amount that we've got on the 17th. So I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, the amount of puts is absurd. Out of the money puts, 340,000 out of the money puts, and they're about to be out of the money with a lot more of these by the 17th, I would imagine. Now what I really want to talk about here, what I want you guys to see here, the short volume percentage, damn near 60%, absolutely ridiculous. Dark pool 65%. But here we go again with the short exempt volume. 1 million on Thursday and 750,000 on Friday. So Thursday, a down day, 8.3%, and Friday, an up day of 1.31%. But we did get those last few percentage, little bits of percentage points towards the very tail end of the day, last half hour, 45 minutes or so. Now, if you haven't seen my video on the short exempt, I don't want to dive into all that right now, but I did make a video on it. If you have not seen it, it was only a couple videos ago. It's straight up short exempt in the title, so you should definitely check that out. But just to give you a quick summary of what short exempt is exactly. Whoop, wrong page. So short exempt is refers to a short sale order exempted from the uptick rule regulation, which is only in place when the SSR is in place now. And that's not the only reason. And I figured that I was thinking, looking over this stuff, I was like, that can't be the only reason to market share short exempt. So I was doing some more digging into it, and this, I don't know exactly what this means, but I think this is something worth talking about. What are the reasons to market share short exempt? First of all, it's kind of just sneaky. Let's just take a quick look here. This is also part of the video. So an ex-Citadel Securities head trader joined BTIG Prime Broker back in November 28th, 2016, right? This article came out. SEC has filed a lawsuit this year for these alleged actions, according to the SEC's complaint from December 16th through July 20, or from December 2016 through July 2017. The very next month, BTIG mismarked as long or short exempt over 90 sale orders from a single hedge fund customer. I wonder, who was that hedge fund? I couldn't possibly imagine. So there's a history there. 160 million shares of stock on this stock that they're talking about back in 2016. 160 million. So I was looking into what are some of the other reasons of why something could be marked short exempt. Broker-dealer policies and procedures. So the policies and procedures of the broker-dealer, meaning that up to their discretion to a certain extent. Sellers delay in delivery. Sellers delay in delivery. Selling a share that you don't have? Is that what that is? That's what that translates to me. Sellers delay in delivery. So they sell a share, but they don't deliver that share. Never heard that one before. That's a funny joke. Odd lot transactions, domestic arbitrage, international arbitrage, over allotments and layoff sales, and this one's interesting. Riskless principal transactions. Riskless principal. I don't know what riskless principal transactions means. Sounds like another broad statement that allows them to use their own judgment. And then this one, I don't know what this means, but I'd love to. If anybody can tell me what this last one means. Transactions on a volume-weighted average price basis, or the VWAP. So what exactly are they saying? Are they saying that if the transaction occurs at the VWAP? Or are they saying in crazy scenarios, because part of the definition for short exempt here on Investopedia over here, short selling in securities is intended to help participants profit during falling markets. We know all that. Rare exceptions right here. Rare exceptions in panicked markets. So basically, if there's a sell-off, there's a big huge sell-off and you want to short something, and there's the uptick rule in place, SSR, you can't short on the way down, right? Like if it's a big sell-off, well, this isn't fair, I want to short, you know, it's a big sell-off, I can't help it if nobody's buying, I can't help it if there's no upticks, you know. So they, you know, I guess they can mark it off as short exempt and allow that trade to go through even though it's against the rules, right? So I could go on and on about that, but like I said, I have a whole video on that, so you check that out below, or not below, but you know, I'll leave the link below. Some bit in my leg. But it like I said, it was like 2 videos ago if you look at my channel. So I just find it incredibly okay. So 1 million shares they marked short exempt, right? 750,000 Friday, 1 million on Thursday. Now the last time they did this huge spike was on August 5th and August 6th. So if we go back and look at August 5th and August 6th over here on the chart. So we had, I'm sorry, no, it was August 4th and August 5th. So we had this huge minus 11% day on August 4th and then a 12% day on August 5th. So, okay, there's a big, huge, the stock's tanking, right? It's tanking. I can understand. SSR in place, stock's tanking, short exemption. But why? Why on God's green earth, on a green day, a 12% green day, August 5th here, 12% green, why do we have over 1.1 million short exempt shares? And looking through the reasonings behind it, and the reasons you can mark a share short exempt, I just find it awfully curious because we've had some epic battles at the VWAP over the course of some of these days, these past 3 days. Yesterday, this data is not on there yet. I believe that is the case. What day is this? I don't even know what day it is. Today's the 28th. So you know what this is? So this isn't even 7/26. So we didn't even get, this is what's going on here? The dates. They haven't updated this. Let's give it a quick refresh. Yeah, they haven't updated that. So we got the 25th and the 24th. So they didn't even give us Thursday and Friday. So this was the 24th and 25th. Okay. Sorry, I had the camera on the wrong screen. Yeah, I had the dates messed up. 24th and 25th. I figured it was just yesterday and Thursday, but they haven't put yesterday and Thursday on there. So we look at the 24th and 25th. You mean to tell me you can't find an uptick? We were up 20%? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not Gary Gensler or anything, but I just would love an explanation as to why there's millions of shares being marked short exempt. I mean, I think as 80% shareholders, owners of AMC, we have a right to know why they are marking shares short exempt of our company. So moving on, enough about that. Let's go to the charts. This thing is going to blow. This thing is about to blow next week, in my opinion. Not blow like the blow we're looking for, but I think we're going to get a sizable move Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, all 3 days. Okay, here's the thing. You look right here, double top. Look right here, double top. This was, we'll call it a double top. It's not, but it was a huge gap up in the pre-market. It was a trap, bull trap. So not a double top, but rejection, double rejection. And then what do you have here? A red doji, 4 green days. Then you got your double top, 2 red days, green doji, 3 green days, double top, 2 red days. So here's the 1 red day, 2 red days, 1 red day, 2 red days, 1 red day, 2 red days. And every step we're taking is getting larger and larger. If you watch my previous videos, I was anticipating this test of 44 is 42 to 44 early in the week, but not the damn near test of 50. That was not in the cards for, Tuesday in my head. So that was great to see. The fact it pushed up that far was, I think, is a very great sign. It has come back. It is respecting this 75 MA, and the 75 MA on the daily chart, if you go to the weekly, it just essentially it translates to this weekly 15. It translates to the movement throughout the week of that weekly 15 MA. So it helps you track where this movement is, you know, intraday or intra-week, I should say. And we got that push right at the end of the day there that pushed us back above our 15 MA at 39.82 on the weekly chart. So we are now back above our 15. And excuse me, when we go back to the previous weeks before June, when you saw a candle like this, green candle on the weekly chart with this huge wick on the top, it always, unless it was a test of new highs, it always led to a run coming up, or at least, you know, very least not much further, not any further down. Just it was sideways trading from there. But right here, you know, not a test of a new high. The next 4 weeks were nothing but gains, pretty much. You know, we had the same thing back here. We had that wick, topping wick. That was a test of new highs, but it came, you know, these big green wicks on the weekly candles, I don't think they're bad. I think they're good. It shows the stock tried to push. And in the weekly candles, literally all that's telling you is that the stock tried to push up, and then before the end of the day Friday, it came back down, you know, at some point. Or, you know, like weekly candles, you have to really dig in. But looking at this chart, I mean, we are sitting pretty, and I think the next 2 weeks we're looking at, next week I think you're looking at a test of 50, maybe even break of 50, and then the following week it's going to get interesting here, folks. It's really starting to get, I've been watching this thing since February, and this right here, this last 2-3 weeks has the same feel to me as it did in this section. The same feel to me, except one huge difference. There's about 10 times more people paying attention now as there was back then. And when this day comes that this starts really moving, it's not going to take much. It's going to take a break here of 44 to 46. And then, you know, you've got this gap over here that was never really filled up to 50. So you know it's going to come up for 50 here real soon. And then after that, you're in a channel of resistance that's going to send us to God only knows where once we get through it. And at this pace, you're looking at, I believe, 2 to 3 more weeks tops before we have left $60, like above and gone past $60. That's my opinion. Could totally be wrong. I just don't think they have what it takes when the volume picks up like this. When the volume picks up like this to keep it down. They spent 25 million shares to get it to trade sideways here for a month and a half. 25 million shares they put into it. So good for them. I'm not scared. I think we're going forward next couple of days for a retest of $48. I think we're going to stay. We got the 15 MA coming in. We tested the 50. We broke below the 50. I talked about how important it was, that 50 MA. We broke below it. We retested it the next day. I expect we're going to go popping up above it tomorrow. Maybe Monday. That's my take. So, like I said, you should definitely watch the short exempt video if you have any information on short exempt and those details that I was looking at that I didn't have the answers for. Please let me know. And I'm going to wrap this one up. Went on way longer than I thought. Like I said, when I get into doing this, I don't get to talk about stocks to people in my life. So when I get on here, I just ramble. My bad. So anyways, I got some more videos coming out. I'm going to do a video at some point tonight or tomorrow about what stocks I'm watching going into next week. So keep an eye out for that. I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next time.